For the next hour, the green and gold are in charge. Welcome to In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. In the Huddle is brought to you by Mole Lake Casino Lodge and Conference Center. Now, here's Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tanner's and Kimberly. In the Huddle is on the air. Good to have you along here this evening after the Packers knock off the Buccaneers 35-26 yesterday. And before us, we are privileged to have Walter Jr. on stage. That'd be Walter Payton.
I definitely won't go that far. But
no, you got a kick out of that, though. You know what? I'll tell you one thing, though. You are tied with James Starks for the most rushing touchdowns among tailbacks. And you are one ahead of Ryan Grant right now.
Wow. Is that a good thing, though?
Not really.
That's what I'm saying. Me and Matt Flynn are the leaders on the rushing touchdown.
Yeah, it's all right, though. Yeah, you had to have a lot of fun with that, though. I mean,
oh, yeah, definitely.
How long has that been in the process?
It's for a few months here now. Coach, it was Coach's idea, Coach McCarthy's idea to put it in. But at the rate we've been scoring this whole season, I think that I never really had the opportunity, you know. He kind of wants the ball around the 1-yard line. And we've been scoring so much that the ball hasn't really gotten there.
He said yesterday in his post-game press conference, he said, I was glad to finally get into the position where I could put BJ on the field because every time we got near the 5-yard line, BJ was standing next to me all the time.
Yeah, man. It was one of those things where you'll see the coaches kind of waving me over, just in case. Like yesterday, I don't think anyone expected it, so no one waved me over. So when they called my number, I was running all the way from the defensive side of the sideline, and I got in. And Aaron and John Kuhn were telling me to hold on to the ball, and I got the ball and got in. You
knew you were in right away?
I did. It just I saw the scene of the line of scrimmage, and I kind of tripped and fell. And I saw it.
The refs took a while, but they, everybody's always standing in the way. Like, there's the line judge that's coming in from the side. He's looking, he can't see. Of course, there's Jermichael Finley standing right in his way. And
yeah, it kind of took away from my moment a little bit, but it was still cool, and hopefully I can do it again.
Yeah, hopefully the next time you'll do the Lambeau Leap.
That's what everybody's been saying, man. But we'll see how it goes.
Ask Sam. Sam, you've done the Lambeau Leap, haven't you? Yeah, Sam's done the Lambeau Leap. Sam Shields will be on with us in the next segment.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, Sam's a pretty good athlete, and he can jump and leap. That's why he's our starting quarterback. a little difference in athleticism right there.
You know what, though? I mean, weren't you talking about in training camp that you had like a standing broad jump or leap, or I mean, you're a pretty good athlete. You can get up off the ground.
Yeah, I can get up. I mean, at the combine, my vertical was 32 inches. So I think I can get there, but I don't want to ruin my moment.
I mean, you can dunk
and turn that into some type of blooper.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's well taken. But you can dunk a basketball, right?
I kind of use my. Nah, I haven't.
You can't dunk a ball? Can you touch the net?
Nah, man. Of course I can touch the net. Yeah, but I don't want to spoil my moment and just use my better judgment right there.
Yeah, and that got the ball rolling for the day too, and that was number one.
Yeah, that's what was so surprising about it. Is just the first drive the offense gets. I wasn't expecting my number to be called, but it just shows the confidence that coach has in me.
In your third year now, you have a interception return for a touchdown, and now you have a rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
there's most defensive linemen that don't even see half of that.
Definitely, it's a blessing. Coach McCarthy is very creative, and I'm definitely blessed to be in that opportunity. He could have chosen anyone to be at the fullback position, but chose me, and I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, I give McCarthy credit because you've never ever scored a rushing touchdown. Have you even had an opportunity before?
No, neither high school or college.
So high school and college, you go all that time, and you don't ever get the chance. And Mike McCarthy says, "Hey, I think this guy's got something here."
Yeah, and I think he was right.
At first, there appeared to be a little confusion on the reporting rule, but apparently you didn't need to report, right?
I don't know. Honestly, man, that was kind of my fault. I normally report. That's what we practice because we have refs at the training facility. So we practiced that every day, and I guess I was so excited and kind of shocked that I kind of forgot the report. So I'm pretty lucky that they didn't call a penalty.
And what the rule is, according to what I saw just an hour ago, is the simple fact that if you were lined up on the line as an extra lineman but a tackle eligible,
okay,
that's where you would have had to legally report, but because you were where you were, that you were all right.
Yeah, I guess I missed the bullet on that one.
That wouldn't have been good if you would have scored a touchdown and had it called back.
Yeah,
that happened to Mark Tauscher, didn't it?
You would probably know better than me.
Yeah.
I don't really recall what went down there.
By the way, if Tauscher can get in the stands, you can get in the stands.
Tauscher do the Lambeau Leap?
Yeah, he did. I don't know.
He made it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he picked the shortest spot.
I need to see that footage.
Yeah, it was something. It wasn't, actually, it really wasn't something, but it was funny.
Wow, man.
TJ Lang says he's happy for you, but he's a tad on the jealous side, too, so.
And it was funny, some of the Bucs players were saying that when they eventually scored and we were drawing back on field goal block, they were saying how jealous they were. And I can understand, linemen want to get in the end zone, too.
You know, you knew last week, I mean, this is a team that had been coming off an embarrassing loss against the Houston Texans, and you knew that they were going to come and that they'd have a pretty good effort on the field to throw at you guys, and they did that yesterday.
Oh, definitely. We were not overlooking this team by any means. Their quarterback is one of the better quarterbacks, young quarterbacks in this league. Obviously, LeGarrette Blount displayed his ability by running through probably our whole defense and scoring. And they got outside. They got Mike Williams and the kid Aurelius Ben, and obviously Winslow had a big day. So they got some weapons, and they did some good things against us.
I think everybody on the roster missed a tackle yesterday.
Man, you know what? That play is not a good play, but it's very impressive. It's one of those things where in this league, someone of Blunt's ability and just his size and stature and his explosiveness, I think that if you don't come up ready to hit and wrap up, you can get ran through.
Yeah, and I don't say that with, I say that kiddingly, of course. Obviously, it's something that Mike McCarthy wasn't happy about and said you guys will be working on, at least as a point of emphasis.
Right.
But that guy's a load. And we'll talk more about him when Sam comes up here, because he's a guy that, Mike McCarthy said we tackled too high. We've got to get back to fundamentals. But that's sometimes that's easier said than done based on where he is on the field. We'll talk more about that when we come back. We'll continue with In the Huddle from Tanner's, BJ Raji, and our special guests coming up after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And transportation for our guests brought to you by L&S Classic Limousine Service, personal professional service for all occasions. Call Lenny at 1-800-830-5933 for your reservation. And you might even get Sue. Lenny or Sue, they'll do the trick for you, won't they? Absolutely. All right, our guest tonight is in his second NFL season out of the University of Miami. He is defensive back Sam Shields. Sam, you're quite a story. One of three undrafted free agents a year ago to make this football team. But you not only made this football team, you kind of turned it upside down a little bit with the contribution you were able to make right off the bat.
I mean, I had no choice. I was undrafted. It was kind of hard, but I put in the work. I couldn't give up. I kept going forward.
Is there more pressure on an undrafted free agent or less pressure?
It's more, because you got guys that got drafted, and basically they come first, so you got to really work your way. Joe Witt came in. When I came in, Joe Witt told me, you got to make that splash play, just to catch somebody's eye, and that's what I was trying to do.
I don't think that a lot of people, when they see the word undrafted free agent and then they see you, I don't think there's a clear understanding of exactly where your talent level is, because had you not, you played wide receiver for your first 3 years in college, and then you switched over to defensive back, and had it not been for that move, had you made that switch a little bit sooner and there would have been more people that had more tape on you, you're a draft pick. There's no question about it.
It all worked out perfect. It came in, coach came to me and asked me did I want to play DB. And, at first it was kind of crazy. I never played DB, a defensive day in my life, so I thought about it, And then, you know, I just gave it a try.
And the alternative would have been what?
It would have been great.
I mean, if you would have stayed a wide receiver?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still miss wide receiver, but
would you have made the NFL as a wide receiver?
probably not.
Yeah. So you made the right choice.
I made the right choice.
Yes, you did. And you're doing a great job, I'll tell you. In fact, the same game that BJ Raji had an interception in the return for a touchdown in the NFC Championship game, you had 2 picks yourself.
Sam had a big
Oh,
day.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was just trying to fit in. You know.
He had a forced fumble, I think, too, right? He had a sack forced fumble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big day.
That's a big day.
Just trying to
big
fit
day for
in.
both you guys.
Yeah. Then he jumped on my back after I scored, too.
That's right. He probably figures it's better than you jump on his back. You know?
Yeah, that's good logic.
You earned the nickel corner job pretty much right out of the gate, and that was pretty huge. And you started making plays right off the bat. But there were times where some people thought that you were kind of still learning on the fly, and you were so fast and athletic that sometimes you'd get beat by a half a step, and you would be able to catch up and make that territory up. And like now in your second year, it's a little bit different. You know, now you're not losing that guy by a step and then having to catch up to him.
Right. You know, like I said, I learned from the best. Wood, Tremont, you know, Nick Collins, them guys. You know, talking with them guys, they helped me out a lot. You know, right now I'm learning my formations and route recognition and things like that right now. So I'm just trying to get the whole game part, knowing everything, so I could be, you know, that next Woodson.
And Woodson, because of what he does well, he likes to roam around, and his strong suits are doing a lot of different things. Without a guy like Tremont Williams, without a guy like you being able to play the corner, I mean, they technically have you listed as a nickel, but you've got to cover, you got to man up to allow Woodson to do what he does.
Oh yeah, you know, like I said, talking to Woodson, you know, he gonna give you the uplift. You know, he gonna just tell you to, you know, do your thing. You know, don't look back at anything. Just go out there and play. And you know, that's all I think about every time I get on that field.
Talking about LeGarrette Blount just before the break.
Right.
Oh man.
Tell me what kind of a load this guy really was yesterday.
Man,
Truckload.
I can imagine from my vantage point, you know, I'm closer to the line of scrimmage, obviously. So, you know, I'm fighting off blocks, and we actually had kind of like a blitz on there. So I'm kind of slanting away, and I see, you know, I look around, I see, you know, Blount hit the hole, and I see a bunch of green jerseys around him, you know, so I'm thinking we got him, and next thing I know, you know, he's off to the races.
Sam, if you, what do you weigh?
180.
180. So if you took this guy, I mean, what is he, 245? 240?
What do you think, Sam?
260.
He's a big dude.
He's that big. You know, so if you try to, because I always wonder why, you know, they always say, well, why don't players always wrap on a play? But I look at a guy like you, and if this guy's coming full steam at you, you try to hit him square and wrap, you're probably going to be sitting, you know, on the sidelines for the rest of the day.
Yeah. You just got to be smart. You know, try to get the ankle part, the lower part, and hey, try to grab something to get him down before the other people come, like BJ come help out.
Yeah,
so.
sometimes it is a matter of hanging on, isn't it? Just until you get some help from your friends.
Yeah, you know, that's always preached team defense, hustling to the ball, but coaches put a premium on backs like LeGarrette, you know, and Adrian, those guys that, you know, I mean, you can say what you want. Those guys are going to break a lot of first tackles. You know, it just showed them, it's evidence on film. So I think that, you know, when you're playing a guy like this, it's imperative that you want to get out there and try to team tackle.
Do you think, and this came up today, somebody that you and I know that we've talked about in the last week or so,
Okay.
a media member.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
He brought up some different things, and McCarthy kind of lit into him a little bit again today, and it had to do about the media being nitpicking.
Right.
About it, you know, this isn't a 6-4 team. This is a 10-0 team.
Right.
And McCarthy kind of said that, you know, you guys are doing a lot of nitpicking for, you know, yeah, we've got a few issues that we've got to clean up, but,
right.
You know, it's not the end of the world here.
Yeah, I would say the same. I would think that, you know, when you're, what are we, 15 wins straight, I think?
Yeah.
That's pretty tough to do in this league, and, you know, 4 of them being in the playoffs, I believe. So when you look at that, something to be said for that, but obviously this is a league where what have you done for me lately, and our last performance, you know, as a team wasn't as good as we liked it to be, particularly defense, us two. You know, we got to do a better job of wrapping up and just doing everything like we've been doing, and I'm trying to just get better.
What did you say? There was the question about why you didn't do the Lambeau leap yesterday in the locker room after the game. I read the quote in the newspaper today. Somebody said, why, you know, how come you didn't Lambeau leap? And you said, because, and the guy said, because why? And you said it was real short. And he said, because I said so, and I didn't feel like it, so next question.
It was like a joke, because this dude kept pressing me, just, why didn't you do it? Why? I'm like, oh, buddy, relax, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I had my reasons for not doing it. And it was one of those things, not that you mentioned it, it was a weird situation for me. Like, you know, it's the first drive of the game, scoring. It's not like I'm on offense, I'm going to go score and sit down. It's like, I'm about to go score and then have to go back on the field and play defense. So it's like my primary job is defense. This is kind of like a bonus.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right. Let me ask you about facing a little adversity along the way. Because this team, as you know, maybe you've had it in bits and pieces, but you've pretty much owned the teams for the most part, most of the season. And yesterday, you know, they pulled within 2. They technically had the tight end drop a 2-point conversion in the end zone that he should have caught. It would have been a tie football game at that point. You guys turn around and march right down the field and score a touchdown, and you kind of kept the pressure on. But there's something to be said about testing yourself under adverse conditions so that when you get into those type situations come playoff time, you'll be ready for it. Right.
It's one of those things I tried to express to the media yesterday where, you know, I know this team, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know they've been struggling the last couple games. They lost a few games, but this is a team that won 10 games last year, you know, and if not for a few teams like us and a few teams like they would have been in. So I think that to sit here and just criticize or nitpick, like you said, a team that's winning and knows how to win, I think is I don't think it's wise. I think you have to understand that in this league, like a number of teams, we love to sit in this position, and I think us to be 10-0 and having a lot of pressure, being defending world champions, something to be said for that.
Yeah, I know the fans are having a lot of fun with a 10-0 football team.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, we play. Obviously, we play for our family, we play for each other, but you know, we play for the fans in the city of Green Bay.
All right, we've got another segment coming up, and before we get to our email question segment, we'll come back and continue our discussion. Sam Shields, our special guest in the program tonight. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back here, brought to you by Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center. More than a great games and casino action, Mole Lake offers first-class accommodations in their 75-room resort hotel, including family suites and whirlpool suites, along with a fitness center, swimming pool, and full-service conference center. We're back with BJ Raji and Sam Shields. Packers knock off the Buccaneers 35-26. Good news, by the way, on James Starks today. There were some that thought he might miss a few games with a sprained knee, but apparently, he's potentially going to have a shot to practice tomorrow and play on Thursday.
Yeah, that's great news, man. Let's clap for that. You know? Yeah. James, you know, he's a huge asset to our team. I think, you know, him and Ryan have different elements to their game, but I think, you know, James definitely has the ability to cut back and, you know, really does do some damage. And I mean, it would be tragic to miss him.
Jordy Nelson, how about the job that he's doing? You cover him in practice. You tell me about him.
I already know. So I already know what the DB, whoever they going against, what he about to get into. So
there was some stuff that came up in the last week, and I think Jordy was kind of semi-offended by it. In fact, Charles Woodson started the whole thing about 2 weeks ago, and I don't think he meant any harm by it, but he just said he thinks that there are defensive backs around the league that don't know anything about what Jordy Nelson can do because he's white. You know, and he meant it in a good way.
Yeah,
you know,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And obviously, my thought process is maybe that might have been the case 2 or 3 games into the season. But at this point in time, you played 9 games going into this 10th one on Sunday. There is so much film and so many huge plays that he's made. The statistics tell the story all by themselves, that there's no way anybody out there, white, black, whatever, are taking this guy lightly at all. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they all watch film, so they know. But I don't think it's because of that.
I think what he meant was, just that how he feels Jordy was underrated. That he feels that race came into play as far as his notoriety around the league. But like you said, I mean, if other teams are studying films and stats like we do, then I guess his stats do speak for themselves. And Jordy is just a great asset to this team. His ability, he can stretch the field, or he could be a possession receiver. So I'm happy to have him.
He's got great speed. His hands have improved considerably, although not that he was ever bad at that before. But last year he had a couple of drops. He had a couple in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's one of the few receivers that can have a lot of drops in the game, but also have a lot of big plays in the game. Just Aaron's confidence to go back to him, that says a lot. In the biggest game of our lives, Jordy has a few drops, but Aaron still stays with him. I think that's a credit to Aaron and his faith in Jordy.
What did you think of the Tim Mastay double fumble?
Be honest with you, I didn't quite see it. I don't know exactly what happened.
The first time there was a guy that came in unblocked, and he would have blocked the punt, and Tim reacted very nicely. He was able to get around him, and then as he got around him, he started to run with the football, and he dropped it. It pretty much bounced right back up to him. So he catches the ball, continues to run a little more, he drops it again, and this time it rolls out of bounds. Now that's,
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't like you said, that was a great play by Tim.
Yeah, he must have went to chapel that morning because
it's gonna be on. Come on, man.
and then afterwards, and Justin Hull played the piece of audio tape for me earlier this afternoon. Afterwards, he's contemplating how the guys in the locker room are going to start to get on him because of the double fumble in his hands and all that kind of stuff. And he said, so I know it's coming, it's just a matter of time. And before he could even complete the sentence, Clay Matthews walks across and he goes, "You suck, Tim." So every media member's got that piece on their audio.
Tim just had that personality where people give him a hard time because he always brushes it off. Aaron and those guys I'm messing with him, but he has a great personality, and obviously he's a heck of a kicker.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think you guys all have a pretty good group in there, and probably kid each other a little bit as time goes. It's a lot easier to do when you're 10-0, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've been here. This is only my third year. Sam experienced some last year when we were, I think, 3-3 or 4-4. One of those. Yeah, work's not any fun when you come to work, and you're not winning. But like Coach McCarthy says, when you're 10-0, life is good.
Yeah, good. Your good friend Mike Neal got back on the field yesterday.
Yeah, that was good. Mike's moving around well. Better than I expected. And today, even his body even reacted after a game like that when I think he played maybe 20 some odd plays, and I think his knees still held up pretty well. And I'm looking for big things from him.
All right, so tell me about the short turnaround. Sam, we'll start with you. Both of you guys, it's physical. It's your body takes a beating out there, and there's a reason why games are generally spaced 7 days apart, because it takes a while for you to kind of get it back and get that body feeling good again. You've got to turn it around real quick.
Right, and that's what we work on. Coach says it's going to be mental toughness. So everybody on the team, we just got to get our mind right and get ready for Thursday.
Everybody's. I hear the term hot bath or warm bath and cold bath.
Cold tub.
How's that cold tubbing?
I hate it.
It's so cold it hurts, man. Your toes be burning. It feels like
everything.
It feels like hot ice in your body, pretty much. It takes 5 to 7 minutes for your body to get acclimated, and then you kind of get this numb sensation, and I guess you're right after that.
Regular George Costanza, I bet, huh?
What does that even mean?
I'll tell you during the break.
Okay.
I'm lost too.
You lost me.
Hey, how about Aaron Rodgers? There's a lot of people out there get where I'm coming from. Aaron Rodgers threw 117 straight passes in between picks. That's a pretty astounding number, isn't it?
Yeah, that deserves a clap. Yeah, that's I've never heard anything like that before, and I think that's why Aaron's able to have the success that he's having. I think that aside from his actual ability, his accuracy, and I think his decision making is the reason why we're having so much success and why he's able to do some of the things that he's done in such a short period of time.
Matthew Stafford, 5 touchdowns yesterday for the Lions after a couple of picks. Is he the kind of guy that you can get a little, you get a little pressure on him, you can force him into some mistakes?
I think, a lot of quarterbacks, most quarterbacks in this league, if you don't have the, not saying he's a stiff or anything, but if you don't have the, just mobility like Aaron a lot of times escapes pressure. If you don't have that weapon, I guess you could say, I think it's hard for you to escape pressure, and quarterbacks don't like to get hit, just like a lot of offensive skill players, and it can take a toll on them.
What did you think about when you heard that Jay Cutler was going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks?
I didn't clap.
I mean, I don't know. Nah, it don't matter to me, hand broke or not, If he out there, then, we like Hawks, so we getting ready to get that ball.
Get ready to play him.
Yeah.
You watched the Eagles game last night?
You know what? Actually, I didn't. I really didn't think it would be a good game, but it turned out to be a good one. You got Vince Young in there. That's a whole other story. But I didn't think I was too entertained by the game. But obviously, I was wrong.
49ers, as you kind of go out west out there, they keep winning 8th in a row, and I think with them and with you guys, I'm kind of just looking forward to playoff time now.
Yeah, those guys definitely turned it around somewhat, because I think we played those guys last year, didn't we? And it came up here, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that was a completely different team than what they've obviously put on film, because, when we study film, we'll see those guys, defensively, and those guys are real good. They're fast and they're physical, and they have a good team. That coach from Stanford really has them going.
Do you like playing in holidays?
I do. Someone brought to my attention that I guess we're the first team in NFL history to play on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and,
my wife wasn't very happy about that, by the way.
I'm sorry to ruin your holiday plans.
How about you, Sam? You enjoy that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I never did. I never played on holidays.
Yeah, for you guys, it's, unless your families come to you,
right?
And sometimes they do, but what would you be doing on Thanksgiving Day if you weren't playing football?
My family, that we rotate like the location. One time, like my mom will host it, and then it'll be her sisters or like someone like a family friend, and we'll go out there. But that's mostly what we do.
All right, it is email segment time, brought to you by Granite Peak Ski Area. That is coming up next. Back with more in the Huddle from Tanner's in Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back here at Tanner's in Kimberly in the Huddle. BJ Raji and Sam Shields. I'd like to welcome Packer fans listening in Wisconsin Rapids tonight on WFHR and Tomahawk and WJJQ, in Madison on WTSO, in Eau Claire on WBIZ, and here in the Fox Valley on WHBY and WSCO. Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau is the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin, with over 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. This year offers an expanded beginner area, a new fleet of rental equipment, and 10 new snow guns for the best snowmaking equipment in the state. For more information and discounted season passes and lift tickets, go to skigranitepeak.com today. Time now for the email segment. Justin?
All right, and as always, inthehuddleshow.com. That is the website each and every week. You can find out who the guest is there, as well as submit your email questions, which we'll be reading now. And the first question, there's about 5 different people that asked this question, builds off of what you guys were talking about at the end of the last segment. But what do you have planned, if anything, for Thanksgiving this year? How will you celebrate?
I think a few of my teammates are married. I'm going to have some people over, and I'll probably do that. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going around Picket House. He said they get down over there. So I'm going to head to Ryan Pickett House. How
much turkey are you guys going to consume then? It's a big defensive line thing. That might be a couple of birds.
I'm not preparing the meal, so I couldn't get back to you on that. But if you're feeding some football players, you're going to need a bunch of birds in there.
All right. The next question, too, kind of sticking with the Thanksgiving theme, coming from Bill in Madison. Do you guys have a Thanksgiving football memory? I'm assuming from watching games over the years on Thanksgiving.
For me, believe it or not, it was probably high school, man. We're playing, our arch rival, our head coach, this was his first year at our school. Before that, he coached at our arch rival. So we're playing them on Thanksgiving, and he had an idea to kind of get us pumped up. We kind of warmed up at our school, and we hopped on the bus with all our equipment on, and we ran from the bus, the top of a hill. We ran from the top of the hill and ran onto the field instead of like warming up at their field, and we kind of blew them out the water.
How about you, Sam? Any playing or even watching on TV over the years?
Nah, nothing. I don't remember nothing. I just remember, I think the Cowboys, because back then I was a Cowboys fan. Didn't they used to play on Turkey Day? They played somebody. I know I was a big Cowboys fan back then. Emmitt Smith. I'm sorry.
I thought you were going to bring up Leon Lett blocking the field goal and then going after it and giving Miami another chance to win in the snow.
I was just watching because my parents was watching, so we was all just rooting for Cowboys. I didn't know what was going on.
All right. We'll get to our next question from Matt and Eau Claire. This is for you, Sam. Being from Florida, what is your favorite winter activity?
Where?
Going back to Florida, is that your favorite winter activity?
No, I don't want to go back to Florida. I want to stay away from Florida. But just staying in the house. I can't deal with it. I mean, when I have to, that's when I have to deal with it. But when I don't, I just stay in the house.
What is it like for you then trying to drive in the snow? Because I'm assuming you didn't see much wintry weather back
Last
home.
year I had 2011 Camaro. You can ask BJ. And they was like, how can you drive that in the snow? And, you know, that's the only car I had. So I was just sliding. I hit a wall. I was sliding. All I heard was, and boom, I hit the wall. That was it. So now I got a truck, so everything worked out.
You learned this lesson.
All right. This is a total Wisconsin question, too, coming from Jamie and Kaukauna. Have either of you ever deer hunted?
Never.
No. I don't see myself in this lifetime doing that. But, nah, I heard it's a big deal up here, man. I just can imagine those people's mindset, you know, when you're doing that. Like, what are you thinking about, man? Do you know?
Thinking about a freezer full of venison.
And don't you got to wake up like 5 in the morning to go hunt?
Do you what?
5 in the morning?
If you want to be a good hunter, you get up at 5 in the morning, but you can go anytime, really.
Oh, man.
There's people 5 in the morning until probably about 7 o'clock at night just sitting in that deer stand, just waiting.
That's crazy.
God bless them.
And then there are those kind of people that just sit in the cabin with with a few cold ones the whole time.
That's what I do. I sit in the cabin.
All right, got another question here from Ryan in Kaukauna. It's for you, Sam. Is it true that you are the fastest player on the team?
Most definitely.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, man.
Who would be second fastest then?
I would say Tremar.
You guys just don't race. That's based on 40 times, I'm assuming?
No, they don't want to. I always want to race. I want to race Nick so bad, but I don't think he wants to. No, we started at first. I took off, and he just stopped. So, but now he said you ready. So I don't know. I'm just waiting.
We got time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here is, I don't know who this one might be from, but somebody wants to know who's your best chauffeur ever. Chauffeur. I think Lenny might have threw that one in the mix up on the
I'll have to go with Lenny, my man Lenny with the top hat, man. Lenny with the top hat, man.
Yeah, only when he wears his top hat or his Indiana Jones hat. He's not bad with his Indiana Jones hat either. What do you got there, Lenny?
That's a bad man.
All right, that's our email segment. We'll come back. Justin will give us a winner. Or when we return, we'll talk a little bit about Thanksgiving Day and the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. It's all coming up after this from Tanner's on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we're back at Tanner's and Kimberly. In the Huddle continues on the Woodward Radio Network. Packers knock off the Buccaneers 35-26 yesterday, and the Lions are right around the corner. Our email segment brought to you by Granite Peak. What do we got for a winner, Justin?
Well, I'll tell you, Bill, that was one of the more memorable stories we heard with Sam and his little driving incident. So Matt and Eau Claire, who got us to hear that story. He'll be the winner of the Granite Peak ski
That's
package.
what we're looking for. Just somebody that'll get these guys to open up a little bit, huh?
Exactly. That was great. That's up there with the top stories I think we've heard. So. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, thanks for the question. We appreciate it. And, of course, you can get your questions in each and every week for our players before the show. All right, let's Carolina led 24-7 in the second quarter yesterday against the Lions, and they came back for the third time. They're the first team in NFL history, at least since 1950 anyway, to win 3 games in a season after trailing by at least 17 points in a game. This is a team that you get them down, you definitely can't relax.
Oh, not at all. Sam can attest to this. The receiving core. A lot of times we do our personnels. Like the first day of the actual work week, and Coach Dom will put up players by position. He'll put up like the skill guys will put up their 40 time. I think today Calvin Johnson was a 4.32, Javid Best was a 4.27. Burlington was a 4.38. So these guys have a lot of speed, and they get down on their routes pretty quick.
Yeah, they've got a decent receiving package, but Calvin Johnson certainly is the guy that leads the way, and he's really good. Tell me about him, Sam.
Just a big physical guy that can run, like you say, run a 4.37. He got a wingspan is so long. He can go up and grab the ball. I mean, he's just an all-around guy.
So do you try to be physical with a guy like that, or?
Not really. You don't want to get too much in that. And, like I say, he's a big physical guy. So, just, try to stay over top so that they won't get the deep ball, upfield.
The tight ends of the Buccaneers kind of hurt you guys yesterday. Anything going on there? Just one of those days?
Just, some communication problems.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit of that, and which we can, work on, get that better. But that's probably it.
All right. They played a lot of man yesterday, right?
Yeah. So
is that something that, and I know you're not, the offense looking at their defense, but is that something that's common in the league? Is there a lot of teams that play a lot of man, or is it more zone?
I would say both. It's kind of in the middle. It's a lot of teams play a lot of zone too, but it seems like us, we play a lot of man.
A lot of man.
A lot of man, but a lot of people don't really know that. But that's the most part what we do.
These guys on the island a lot, and it's a credit to those guys. A lot of times, like you said, a lot of people don't know exactly what we play, but a lot of times, this guy and Tremont and a lot of those guys, they'll be manned up, for 4 or 5 plays out of a series, and that's kind of tough. And I think it's a credit to these guys, their skill level and the confidence that Dom has in them.
Yeah, and you have to. I mean, if you're going to blitz a lot,
right?
Then you got to man up, right?
Right. Not necessarily,
okay.
But the most effective blitzes obviously are when you can switch up and do the man, because obviously if you're zone blitzing, there's holes in the zone. But I think back to these guys and their coverage abilities, and these guys are fairly young, and aside from Wood, but we have some good young cover corners.
They're still playing without Javid Best, who has the concussion problems. I heard today that they're hoping he can make it back before the end of the season. Kevin Smith is re-signed with Detroit, and I think he had 3 touchdowns yesterday, 1 by ground and 2 by air.
Yeah.
So he's a talented player. It certainly you have to can't take lightly. And Maurice Morris is a guy that kind of just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's producing for them from the running back position as well.
Yeah, we were just talking about today in our meeting room that their running backs are pretty good as collectively as a unit. You see a lot of times where a team will have one good feature guy. I mean, healthy is obviously Javid Best, but I don't know the situation, but their backups are pretty good.
I know the defense isn't bothered by the noise as much as the offense is, but there's a noise element now at Ford Field. Compare that one to some of the others, I guess.
From what everyone says, it's pretty loud, and I think, but I haven't been through it. I haven't played there when they were having this type of success and the loud venue. So it'll be interesting to see how our guys react, but I have confidence in Aaron and the guys.
Talk about double-digit wins. You're there now. Mike McCarthy said we really don't talk about our long-term goals until we hit double-digit wins. So you've got 10.
I know, but it's a different year, man. It's not like, but we're trying to get, Charles stood up in front of the team in week 1 and said, we want to go undefeated. So, not to say that that's our goal, but, we take it game to game. But, 10 wins is good, but, we have much higher goals in mind.
Well, there's that 1962 Detroit-Green Bay clash.
You too, man.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers were unbeaten going in. Detroit had a 7-3 record. Detroit wins the game on Thanksgiving, but Green Bay goes on to win the championship. And you told me during the break, you said, you guarantee me a championship, I'll take a loss on Thanksgiving.
Of course. Like, who could disagree with me right there?
Yeah.
But I don't think, that's that, for, I guess you guys, the media, and those guys sitting up there on that TV, Gruden and those guys, that's cool for them to say stuff like that. But I don't think there's any correlation. We're a different team. That 62 team was obviously great, but I think that we're trying to pave our own way.
All right. Sam, thanks for coming out this evening. Best of luck to you the rest of the way. Sam Shields. BJ, thank you. Good luck. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be back again next Monday here at Tanner's on the Woodward Radio Network.